The Season 4 rank split has finally come into Apex, and we are now finally able to play Apex Legends ranked mode on Kings Canyon. However, the update was a huge letdown because there really wasn't an update at all. As a matter of fact, this was a huge letdown across the Apex Legends community, as we were expecting at least some balances, some weapon changes, some meta changes, maybe even some character nerfs or buffs. And on top of that, we actually didn't even get a map update to the Kings Canyon map that they gave us. They actually just gave us the recycled Season 2 map of Kings Canyon that we've had multiple times in the past. I think in the last few months we've had this as an LTM probably at least 4 or 5 times. And this was a really time to let the Apex Legends community down, simply because these people have been really furious with Apex lately. A lot of pros, a lot of content creators have been on the edge about Apex as a game itself and the success and the potential that it now has. If you guys have watched my previous videos in the last few days, you know that I have personally been really frustrated, but here are just a few tweets amongst the Apex Legends content creators that you guys know and love on Twitter. We have Nicewig, Staycation, Candyroo, and even Daltouche chiming in on why Apex Legends is just really dry and boring right now. There are simply things that Apex has neglected to do since the day the game has come out, and they still have refused to give us what we want and what the game needs in order to succeed at a higher scale. And with no response and no indication within the last few weeks, the last thing that Apex needed was a very big flop and a botch of an update with this new Kings Canyon split. They at least should have had some character buffs or nerfs for that matter, or possibly even a map update instead of recycling the same Season 2 map that they have brought back over and over again, and they failed to do all three. If you guys have noticed, a lot of your favorite content creators on Twitch have been streaming Call of Duty Warzone or have been really excited and eager to play Valorant when it comes out. If you guys don't know already, Valorant is just the actual name for codename Project A, and I'll have to admit that I'm actually really excited to play this game simply because Apex has let us down so many times. Now, I love Apex Legends, and I definitely still plan to continue to play this game even after all of these other games come out, because at the end of the day, this game is still fun and the gunplay is a lot of fun and enjoyable. But I will say this, I do believe Apex Legends is going to take a massive hit and be quote unquote dying constantly, simply because the stats and the statistics of people playing this game and watching this game are going to continuously go down as long as Respawn does not listen to the community and add essential things like cross-platform and add game modes like solos and duos that people love and people enjoyed. And for goodness sake, some people don't even have a server that's good enough to play on where they live. And to think that Warzone has already come out and has already established and implemented essential things like crossplay, they've already brought solos, there's already leaked files about duos coming. They really understand what it takes to have a successful battle royale and a successful game all in all. And that's not to say that Warzone won't slip up in the future, but it is to show that they obviously know what people want. People want solos, people want duos, people want squads. They don't want to be forced into one category. And as with Valorant, I think it's going to be a really successful game because they've already implemented 120 tick rate servers. They have a really good anti-cheat system. I'm quite certain that it is crossplay simply because they have made the statement that they want people to be able to play with each other no matter what hardware they're running, which would mean an Xbox, PS4, PC, mobile. I'm not really sure. I don't really think it will have mobile essentially off the start, but I definitely think that they will have all the consoles and PC cross-platform being able to play with each other, so that looks very promising. And lastly, on top of that, it's created and developed by Riot Games, which we all know and love for League of Legends, and we know that they know how to run an esport. League of Legends has been around for years and years and years, and they have been constantly successful. I cannot think of a time where League of Legends has not been successful and not been massively watched on Twitch. And on top of that, Riot Games does a great job on advertisement because you always see stuff about their tournaments, you always see stuff about a new update or something that's going on in the game. Even though I'm not a really big and intense player in League of Legends, sometimes I play occasionally, I'm always seeing what's going on with League of Legends simply because they do a great job at advertising, and that's one thing that Apex Legends is really lacking, is exposure through advertisement about their game, their events, and their tournaments. But at the end of all this, I don't want to look down on Apex and say it's going to die, it's all over, Warzone and Valorant are going to take over the game and take over the esports scene. That's not what I'm saying, that's not what I'm hoping for. What I'm really hoping for is that Valorant and Warzone become a really big wake-up call for Apex Legends, and they really step their game up and realize that these things that the fans, that the community are requested for a reason, and requested because they are needed. So through all all of this, through all of this uproar, I really hope that Respawn pays attention to YouTubers and people's complaints and pro players and content creators and even the general public, the general community of fans that just want these things in the game. I cannot believe that solos was so successful and that duos was so successful, and then when pro players and content creators asked Respawn when they were invited to the Respawn studio, they literally said that solos didn't work for the game. Or how about how massively successful duos was and they still have not brought it back? Or how about how the game has been out for a year and we still deal constantly with cheaters? So currently things don't look too good for Apex Legends, but I hope the grass is greener on the other side. Many of you that are just casual gamers that don't really pay attention to all of these things, you may not be worried about Apex and you may be just perfectly fine and happy with the way it is now. But what you might need to realize is that the general community, the general public of all of Apex Legends want these things in the game, and if they don't come soon, your queue times of the game that you love, the game that you don't really care about if it has crossplay or solos or duos or not, those queue times are going to be way longer, and in fact potentially in the future completely gone. And what I mean by that is, look at a game like Splitgate that was pretty popular when it was first released, but because they didn't really capitalize on the growth that it had at the very start, no one really talks about Splitgate anymore, and if you go on there now and try to find a game, it will take a long time to find a game. I think about a game like Gears of War back when it was really good in Gears of War 2 and 3, and if you actually try to go back and find those games now and try to get into a game to reminisce old memories, you can't even experience the good times because there's no one playing the game anymore. And sure, they've come out with new games since then, and maybe that's probably the biggest reason why, but all in general, many people don't play Gears of War like they used to, and it's not because the game in general just got boring, it's because the game never learned to grow past what it was already used to. And unless you're willing to learn and grow past that what you already know, you will never be massively successful. But let me know what you guys think about the state of Apex right now. Is it really dry for you? Are you getting really bored of the game? Are you enjoying another game now? Or how do you feel about it in general? Also, let me know what you guys think about a new implementation of Apex Legends. What would you like to implement into the game? What is the one feature that you think is so important that Respawn is missing out on because they refuse to add it? Is it solos? Is it duos? Is it cross-platform? Let me know down in the comments below. And if you enjoyed the video, make sure to leave it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more content, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.